There's a part in this movie where a character literally tells you to switch your brain off and don't think about it too much. Something I kind of appreciate, actually. Tenet. So, Tenet is a sci fi action flick written and directed by Chris Nolan, starring John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, Dimple Kapadia, Michael Caine, and Kenneth Branagh. And it's about this secret agent trying to stop World War III with time travel sort of shenanigans. I'm not going to go into how the time travel and shit works, because that would be very complex. And the movie did ask nicely right at the start to turn my brain off. There's going to be mild spoilers here because I want to talk about a couple of things. First, that one scene. All right, so you got the main character played by John David Washington, and he's talking to some scientist lady, and the scientist lady is explaining the science and all that of this world and how shit works. And yeah, I've just said it a couple times. She pretty much says to him and to the audience, "Don't worry about it. Just go along with it." And I'm thinking, fine, I'll do that. But if I do that, if I do that, you need to impress me, and you need to be really awesome. Now, the problem with telling me to switch my brain off when it comes to the time travel mechanics is I'm going to pay attention to the other stuff then. Fine, you don't want me to pay attention to that and just let it go? Fine, but I'm going to pay attention to other stuff. And I noticed a pattern with this movie. It would be action. Really intense, really well shot, really interestingly done because some of it's forward, some of it's backwards. It's really cool like that. And then you get exposition dumps. And these exposition dumps are basically the same thing, but with different characters and different locales and doing different things. To explain it, like, all right, action scene's just done, and now he's talking to some person through the street. Now they're on a tram talking about this, and I'm like, okay, but these are essentially exposition dumps. That's all these scenes are. They're just explaining things to the audience, and it gets old after a while. I'm like, all right, I'd rather more character stuff, and I feel like the only people who have characters is Kenneth Branagh and Elizabeth Debicki. I feel like you know what their motivations are. You know who their characters are. You know they build those two characters up in a way they don't really build up any other characters, and makes the movie feel a bit flat. Like, sure, John David Washington's really good in this movie, but he doesn't really have a character. Which, yeah, Robert Pattinson's really good in this movie, and at times supremely interesting. Doesn't really have a character that much. So, yeah, and it's long. Like, this is 2.5 hours. I was never bored, but I never fully clicked with everything. They asked me to let things go. And I get to a point where I'm just like, wait, what? And because I couldn't let that go, because it was just so. Alright, here's a mini spoiler from here for I don't know when. But what happens is there's a fight, and, there's bullets flying and they're getting sucked back up into the gun. And then later on, you see the fight from the other side. And it turns out John David Washington's fighting himself. But why would he try and shoot himself in the head? Why would he even fire the... Yeah. And once... that's over halfway. I think, or maybe around halfway. Because what happened, over halfway. Because what happens is, all right, turn your brain off. Don't worry about it. Then it gets a bit too glaring, and you're like, hmm, hmm. And that feeling of, never really left me. And I will say, there is some really cool things in this movie. The action scenes are great. The acting's really good. It's shot beautifully. And the music is awesome. It's by a guy named Ludwig Göransson, who does the music for The Mandalorian. And the music from that's great. And music from this is great too, because some of the music sounds inverted and normal because of the way the movie is structured. And I think the music is absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, this movie asks some things of you and then can't back it up. So there it is. It's all right. There's a lot of holes in this that I was willing to let go because the movie was so charmingly nice about it at the start. I was like, okay, I'll play by your rules. Just give me the good stuff. And I don't think the movie quite delivered the good stuff. It was all right stuff. And I think this would be a better TV show. Yeah. There's my cat. I've got the door closed so I can do this review. And Ashy's just like, you've closed the fucking door? How dare you? This is my place. I can go where I please. And yes, you can. I'll open it in a tick. So, yeah, there it is. That's how I feel about Tenet. It's alright. It's not boring. But it doesn't quite justify its 2.5 hours. Which is weird because the TV show would be more than 2.5 hours. But I feel like a TV show would do better at building up characters, the universe, and the way things work than a 2.5 movie, which has to cram a lot in. So yeah, give me a like, dislike, share, and subscribe, all of that stuff. And I'll see you next time. I'm thinking of doing another really bad Bruce Willis movie. I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's do the thing. Yeah. At least I remembered which side of the wall this goes on.